Okay, I got my little tinfoil hat on. It's kind of hard to really tell. It doesn't really look like a hat. Just looks pretty garbage to me. But anyways. But yeah, this video is just gonna be having fun looking at what Arnold said the last couple days about reworks and potential characters coming to the game. It's all in fun.
I'm sick and tired.
All right.
Today we're talking about the top 10 characters that need a rework. A lot of them being iconic. Why do they suck so bad? Now, you see, back in my day, we would have what's called reworks. Now, all you youngins are used to Datacrons, the Omicron.
He's not wrong though. CG doesn't do reworks anymore. They do Omnis and Datacrons. But anyways, first character is gonna be Darth Maul.
Right now, it's getting a big boost through Datacrons, but that's only a temporary thing, and it's got a lot of paywall elements.
I don't really know why a lot of people are on Maul about, being boosted with a short-lived Datacron. I mean, it's nice, but it can be negated by insta-kill and no revives. But anyways.
Put in heavy RNG elements and boom! This character woke up and it was meta. I want this guy to be better. It's Darth frickin' to the MAUL. All they have to do again, a few ways that CG likes to go about revitalizing some factions.
Yep.
They throw in an Omicron, which is option number one. Or number two, they add other characters with direct synergies to a particular faction that lifts them up, i.e. the Tuskens. Fun fact.
In conjunction with that, Sith-wise, the only Sith that could really boost them would be like a Chancellor Palpatine, maybe, or a massive overhaul of Darth Sidious. I mean, Savage, Asajj, and Count Dooku, maybe you could get some sort of synergy with him. Kind of doubt it, but anyways. Up next, Princess Leia. She needs a boost because she's not been good in ages. Never been good, even though she has an army. It's not exactly the best thing on the planet. A lot of rebels as well, Wedge and Biggs. I know you mentioned Wedge in particular
because we're supposed to be really good at Saw Gerrera. I'm not quite seeing it right now. So there was an effort to be made to make him more useful. I still don't think he's.
Wow, that was a nice little stutter there. Anyways, so yeah, apparently Saw was supposed to boost up like the Chase team, the Wigs team. Like those two duos, and then they're all supposed to be good under Saw, and it's not really panning out, so they need something to make them better, which he thinks is Leia, like a GL Leia.
Love. And don't even get me started on his ship. We've been getting the frickin' Red 5 teasers for who knows how long. I think they stopped doing it recently because they got a little...
The reason why I stopped Red 5 leaks is because people got a little carried away with it. Like they were seeing everything Red 5 coming, but they went down the route of the Leviathan, so here we are.
It's been almost a year since they started it. This guy used to be meta at one point. Biggs and Wedge completely dominated.
That was a long time ago.
And now he's not really doing all that much. Now the good thing is, unlike Leia, he at least has a rebel fighter tag. People try to use him with Saw Gerrera, so you could try to do something. I just still feel like he's not quite getting as much.
Okay, we're gonna skip ahead to Death Trooper.
It would be great to see him a little bit more helpful.
Because Death Trooper needs something. What he's going to go with here is Death Trooper, getting rid of the Director Krennic bit of all this, making him useful with all the Imperial leaders, is what he says, Make them all good, like he uses Lord Vader's suggestion. It'll make Death Trooper a lot more viable outside of an Iden team, outside of like the regular Imperial Troopers, but you really use him with Iden more than Veers. Okay, next, HK, you Relic 7 him for Leviathan. Hasn't been used since the original Darth Revan meta. Ever since Malgus came along, he's been sidelined for basically Malgus and anyone better. Yeah, I mean, he does have a little bit of usage with Afra, but I mean, yeah. Up next is the entire Phoenix squad, because
maybe should have been on Phoenix somewhere, so Fulcrum Ahsoka Tano can work with.
No,
in general, the Phoenix is a team that falls off fairly quickly, and the rule of thumb has been once you unlock Thrawn and Palpatine at low level, sub 85, you kind of just stop upgrading them at that point.
Because
even for the pilots,
my Phoenix are mostly Gear 11. The only one that's Relic 5 is Heron. That's because of the profundity, and that's the consensus with most of the Phoenix. They've not been good for ages. So Ewoks, speculation here is to tie in with a GL Leia potentially kind of thing, you know. Ewoks as a whole are not worked on outside of very few people because, you know, it's the Ewoks, they're not exactly good.
Now,
What did he say for this one?
I decided to try to be crazy. I'm like, I'm buying into the Ewok conspiracy. Crazy like
No, it's not it.
Phasma, where her
Oh, here we go.
or TIE pods
It's the
like 100
First Order TIE
speed,
pilot.
really getting out there.
100 base speed like his Omni is. That would help them a little bit. I mean, it would. I don't know if it'd be enough though. They need something big because they are just meh. Jawas, I'm not going to cover them. Jawas are not exactly good. And then he gets down to the final two, which are Luke, Farm Boy Luke, and R2-D2.
Suffers a similar problem like Princess Leia, lack of tags. So just don't get their...
Yeah, I mean, him and Leia only have 4 tags: Light Side, Attacker, Leader, and Rebel. And they've both gotten Omnis over the last little bit, but they're not exactly good. 12,000 people did the Omni for Luke, though, which is kind of odd because it's territory war. What is it he said about this
becomes Luke Skywalker that we truly come to
No,
love.
that's not
so
it.
Maybe I'll let this one slide. But I hate when iconic characters are just kind of sitting
here we
around.
go.
And look, I have an account that's pretty big, not the biggest, but
No,
definitely
this
big.
wasn't it.
It's only Gear 8. There's like no incentive to get him up and running. Maybe give him a ship. Maybe it'll get people up and running a little bit more. I don't know. Now I'm saving my controversial...
That wasn't it. Where was it in here?
Debatable, controversial one for Dev and Omicron on him for Territory Wars. Actually, not too long ago, too, right? We have you know what? It's one of those things where we have so many layers of issues. Like,
Here we go.
I'm hypercritical of some factions and teams out there because in a world where you only have so much on offense and only so much you need to put on defense, some teams, even though they might be decent, just don't get their spot in the light.
And that's the thing. The Rebels have a lot of sub-factions in them. The Rogue Ones, the Rebel Fighters, the Mon Mothma Rebel Fighters. You've got like all these sub-factions inside the Rebels, and then Luke doesn't really have a home. Well, Farm Boy Luke doesn't, but that's where he gets. And then the final one, R2-D2. So, his thought process behind R2 is because outside of the Rebel teams, he doesn't have a home because CLS has his own thing. He doesn't really fit in a niche with the Rebel fighters. Resistance, he doesn't have a home. Yeah, it's more, you know, just, he needs something,
Commander
basically.
Luke Skywalker, the kitchen's
Yeah.
full, and he's not better
CLS.
than, for example, Form the previous season. To basically kind of make him exist through turns, it's not really the most useful.
I mean, yeah, it's just R2's just lost his home over time. That's all for that video. But then the other one, 3 new characters coming to the game. Okay, before we get into it, I just gotta know, what are these troopers? I haven't been the most up-to-date on watching his stuff, but are these supposed to be like his Kyber Empire troopers? Please someone tell me, because I have no idea. And they have the Star Wars aesthetic for the neck down, but the helmets look off. But anyways, so basically all of this video is based off of this, not all of it, but chunks of it, where, you know, Tarful, Marin, Unaligned Saw, that stuff, or Cal Kestis stuff. Jolee Bastila stuff is weird. Bastila makes sense because of the Leviathan Rex. Jolee not as much, unless they're pushing us to getting prepped for a new Revan of some kind. I don't know why Jolee of all people, but okay. And then there's an Ewok stuff for Endor Leia. Where was the stuff about Bad Batch? Also, you know, he mentions getting a Scout Trooper because
there is no galactic legend.
we kind of need
Ewoks are very under-geared. People.
we need a Scout Trooper. Yeah. What was it? What did he say right here about
Get
Scout
out
Trooper?
there. There's no required for a new Leia. Not out of the question.
Nope, that's not it.
Leia. Just putting it out there. There's no
Okay, come on.
indication of this whatsoever. I would love to see a Scout Trooper finally. That'd be pretty neat.
Everyone wants a Scout Trooper. He's been an iconic enemy we've had to fight since the game launched, and we don't have him. Okay, so Bad Batch stuff. He's basing this off of the leaked stuff that was at the end of last year. You know, new cows, yada yada yada. The Pike Syndicate, the Gungans. But he brings up a good point about Crosshair. Also, it's been almost 2 years since the first season of Bad Batch ended, so it's kind of like it's taken a while for us to get Crosshair of any kind. But he says this about him. Let me find out.
So I wouldn't be putting it out of the question if we get Crosshair in the game finally. I would love it. Funny enough, labeled as light side Imperial Trooper inside of Rise of the Empire, which is kind of funny if you think about it. Imperial Troopers have been losing a
Okay, so Crosshair being light side Imperial Trooper is, like you said, very odd. Crosshair, light side Imperial Trooper, that'd be interesting to tie in with the Bad Batch and also help the Imperial Troopers as a whole, because, you know, why not? More Imperial Trooper love would never go remiss on my hand. He mentions Bail in passing. We don't need another Mon Mothma-esque rebel leader, because I feel like that's what he would be. I mean, he's cool and all, but like, he's a politician like Mon Mothma is. He's not a fighter. So I don't, no thank you, I'll pass on that one. And then he brings up the Gungans, because everyone's got Gungans on their mind, because Gungans, you know, Jar Jar, Boss Nass, you know, and then General of the Gungan Grand Army. Who the hell was that? Oh, General Tobler Seal. Anyways, him, you know, Boss Nass, Jar Jar. That's where he's going with the whole Gungan thing, because Padme and R2 don't really have a home. I mean, I run Padme with my JMK, but obviously that's not the same for everyone, depending on what level of the game you are in. And at the end, he sneaks in the N1 Nubian Starfighter, you know, the one that... No, it's just the N1. I thought it was Nubian. Anyways, the N1 Starfighter is the one that Anakin flew into the Trade Federation control ship, the one that Mando gets in, you know, was it season 3? No, season 2, season 3. So he also mentions, you know, Mando, we'd have to get a new Mando, like a dark saber wielding Mando of some sort to pilot that new N1, because, not this one, but like his own N1, because, well, OG Mando doesn't have a ship, and it'd be weird to give him that. Bam already has the Razor Crest, so we would need a third one to pilot it. But, yeah, I mean, overall, I can see where some of the stuff comes from. Like R2 rework with like an Ami or something, that'd be, I mean, originally my thoughts were I don't want it, because he has usage some with like a Zori team. If you run R2 with that team, I don't really know how much he brings to the table per se, but he brings something. And then, like, you know, the Leia stuff and all that. So it's just more a matter of, we'll have to wait and see. I do like the speculation though. It's just, you know, he has more of a pulse on things than most people do, so we'll have to see how things turn out. And yeah, if y'all enjoyed, don't forget to hit like and hit subscribe. And thank you for watching and enjoying, maybe listening to me ramble for a little bit. But yeah, I'll catch you all later.